In this video, we're going to start off the chapter Measurement of Three-Dimensional Shapes for Grade 8 by having a look at the total surface area of prisms. A prism is a three-dimensional shape with two identical faces lying parallel to each other. For example, if we start with a rectangle and stretch it out in one direction, we will form a rectangular prism. And if we take a square and stretch it out the same distance as the side length, we form a square prism, which is called a cube. In this video, we're going to have a look at how to determine the total surface area of these two prisms. The total surface area of a shape is the area it covers once it's been unfolded into a net. It is still a type of area and therefore is measured in units squared. To determine this total surface area, it is useful if you can imagine how the shape folds open into its net. Here we have a cube with all the sides the same length. If we open up this cube to form its net, you will see that it has 6 identical squares. The total surface area of a cube will therefore be the sum of the area of the 6 squares. Similarly, if we fold open a rectangular prism, you will see that it consists of 3 pairs of identical rectangles. To determine the total surface area, we will have to add up the area of all 6 of those rectangles. Let's have a look at examples of these calculations. Calculate the total surface area of each of the following shapes. Our first shape is a cube, which means that all the side lengths are the same, and in this case 4 centimeters. Unfolded, this cube consists of 6 squares. So, to determine the total surface area of this cube, I'm going to add up those 6 areas. And each square is an area of side squared. We know that each side is 4 centimeters. Therefore, the total surface area is 96 centimeters squared. Our second shape is a rectangular prism, which can also be called a cuboid. For the total surface area of this rectangular prism, there are 6 rectangles we need to add up. You can calculate each one individually, or you can see that at the front and back we have 2 identical rectangles. The rectangle area is length times breadth, which in this case is 7 times 5. And now we know that there are 2 of these rectangles. Next up, on the left hand side, we have a 15 by 5 rectangle, and right across from that on the right hand side, we have a second identical one. So we can now add to this 2 15 by 5 rectangles. And lastly, we have the rectangle at the bottom, which is a 15 by 7 rectangle, and another identical one at the top. So we need to add the last 2, and they are 15 by 7 rectangles. And now we have the area of all 6 rectangles, and adding this up, you will see that the total surface area is 430 meters squared. Example 3. A rectangular swimming pool, as shown in the sketch, has to be painted. Calculate the area that needs to be painted. In this case, we still need to determine the total surface area. The difference is, however, that there is no top rectangle because the pool is open. Therefore, this area consists of 5 rectangles instead of 6. Our first rectangle is the rectangle at the front, which is a 2 by 4 rectangle, and this one is repeated at the back. So our first calculation will be 2 2 by 4 rectangles. Then on the side, we have a 2 by 6 rectangle, and of course we have one on the right and on the left. So next up we add 2 rectangles of 2 by 6 meters. And lastly, we have the bottom of the pool, which is a 4 by 6 rectangle, and this time it's not repeated at the top. So now we add 1 4 by 6 rectangle. So the total surface area of this swimming pool is 64 meters squared that needs to be painted. In the next video, we'll have a look at the total surface area of a triangular prism.